Coming up next on Arizona Horizon, the latest on the Trump administration declining to release billions in federal funding for education programs. Also tonight, concerns over the suicide rate among those in the construction industry. And a new film about reimagining corrections with a focus on art therapy. Those stories and more next on Arizona Horizon.
Arizona Horizon is made possible by contributions from the Friends of Arizona PBS, members of your public television station.
Good evening and welcome to Arizona Horizon. I'm Ted Simons. A wildfire burning at the north rim of the Grand Canyon has led to evacuations and the loss of up to 80 structures, including the historic Grand Canyon Lodge. The Dragon Bravo fire has burned 5,000 acres and the entire north rim is now closed. The fire was initially caused by lightning on July 4th. Now, the federal government's response was to manage the flames as a controlled burn. But strong winds caused the fire to spread rapidly, leading to questions about the government's confine and contain strategy. Indeed, U.S. Senators Mark Kelly and Ruben Gallego, along with Governor Katie Hobbs, they're all calling for an independent investigation into the initial handling of the fire. Arizona Attorney General Kris Mayes joined a coalition of 24 states in suing the Trump administration over the withholding of federal education funds as the school year approaches. The withheld money includes $118 million for Arizona. The funds help pay for free or low-cost after-school programs, along with meals for lower-income kids, teacher training, and other programs. This, as the U.S. Supreme Court today announced that the Trump administration can go ahead and dismantle the Department of Education by firing thousands of department workers. It's a temporary order, but it does allow for the administration's plans to fire workers to proceed. And it allows the president to essentially bypass Congress to eliminate a government department created by Congress. Other headlines: President Trump today said that the U.S. will sell weapons, including Patriot missiles, to NATO for the express purpose of getting those weapons to Ukraine. The president also threatened to impose, quote, very severe tariffs on Russia if there's no peace deal with Ukraine within the next 50 days. The weapons sale and tariff threat indicate the president is no longer as supportive of Russia as he once was.
I've been hearing so much talk. It's all talk. It's all talk, and then missiles go into Kiev and kill 60 people. It's got to stop. It's got to stop. And I'm disappointed in President Putin because I thought we would have had a deal 2 months ago, but it doesn't seem to get there. So based on that, we're going to be doing secondary tariffs if we don't have a deal in 50 days. It's very simple. And they'll be at 100%.
The president also threatened sanctions and additional tariffs against countries that do financial business with Russia. As we mentioned, Arizona's joined a coalition of states in suing the Trump administration over federal funds that help pay for a variety of programs and services. The hit to Arizona, $118 million. Joining us now is Marisol Garcia, president of the Arizona Education Association. Good to see you again.
Good to see you.
Before we get to all this, the news of the day now is the Supreme Court saying you want to go ahead and dismantle the Department of Education. Go right ahead. What do you make of it?
I mean, it's shocking because the department was initiated by Congress, and I'm a civics teacher, so I understand the three branches of government, and the fact that Congress opened up this department, has funded this department, and schools are very dependent on funding going through the Department of Education. Getting rid of staffers is going to slow down those funds getting to schools, and so we will have a very turbulent next few weeks.
And again, this isn't even on the merits of the case. This is just a temporary order blocking the block, if you will, and saying if you want to go ahead and dismantle, go ahead. Does that add another layer of concern for you?
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing for us in education is we are in such instability and expected to bring nothing but stability to our students. And so almost weekly, whether it's here at the legislature, at school board levels, but now the federal government, we are really unsure of what we will have to be able to present to our students.
Let's talk about why we asked you here in the first place, and that's the federal government basically saying we're not ready yet to what? Release $118 million in Arizona, but billions around the country. What's the reasoning here? Why are they holding on to this money?
We have no reason. We were told it was temporary. However, schools in Arizona start very early. We have students showing up in 2 days in some school districts. So all of this money is intended for personnel and programs. And so districts are left very much unsure what they're going to be able to do.
I've got, what, more than 10% of K-12 funding from the Department of Education? Is that what we're talking about here?
Yes.
What about some of the programs and services? A lot of after-school and
A lot
summer
of
programs.
after-school, before-school programs, things that are set up to ensure students are hitting literacy goals, as well as making schools whole so that they can offer arts programs after school, STEM programs after school.
Were the teacher training also
Yes.
involved? Was there any reason given for everything from teacher training to these after-school and preschool programs? What is the reason given?
We have no understanding of why. We legitimately believe this is illegal, and we are very grateful that Attorney General Mays has entered into this lawsuit.
Yeah, with a couple dozen other stuff. Okay, programs for meals for
Right.
lower income kids, that's involved as well.
Yes. As well as second language learner programs. Post-Brown v. Board, we knew that students living in poverty were struggling, and these programs were set up to support students in poverty, kids that are learning second languages, or kids that come in and just need extra support.
Yeah, I asked why, and I do know one thing that the White House said, and this is a quote, that the funds will be, quote, grossly misused to subsidize radical left-wing agendas.
I'm not sure who has time for that. We're really busy. I've been at schools right now, and teachers are stapling on their knees things to the wall to make sure students have great educational experiences. That's not happening in our schools, and it's unfortunate that politicians and folks in D.C. are deciding that that's what's happening in local schools.
Is it happening enough in certain anecdotal situations, enough to get the ear of the White House and the president and to give them a hook to hang on?
I don't have heard of nothing here in Arizona. Even when we ask for exact examples, we don't get them. But I think every parent who drops their kids off at school know that there's people in that building they can talk to, and those folks are working hard to keep their kids safe. So we need to focus on what's really happening in school.
Well, how do schools now focus on what's really happening as far as not getting these funds?
Yeah, I've talked to a lot of school districts up and down the state. What they're doing is dipping into their reserves. Usually districts hold 2 to 3%, sometimes 4%, just in case. This has now become this in case. The fact that we are not getting the federal funds, they're having to redo budgets and figure out who they need to let go and what programs to cut.
So there is planning going on in
Yes.
case this money never arrives.
Yep, this is exactly what's happening right now. They are sitting around figuring out who can be riffed or let go, as well as what programs are no longer sustainable.
Some of these programs are, as we mentioned, for students with greater needs.
Yeah.
How do you get around that? How do you fix that? How do you work with that?
It's difficult. I think we continue to ask in this country public educators to carry on additional responsibilities, get there earlier, stay there later, making sure these kids, because we can count on one thing, public school educators are going to do everything they can for their kids. It's kind of what we do. And so I've already heard of educators starting to figure out ways that they can change their schedules to be there earlier and stay later without pay to make sure kids meet their goals.
Is there a way for school districts, teachers, schools in general, without the extra hours, without the added this, that, and the other, to change? I mean, is this an opportunity for change in some way, shape, or form?
We're talking about Arizona education that is already ranked 50th in the country, so we've already taken every single opportunity to think of new ways and cut in different places.
Well, I guess my question, I'm not basically saying can we get to 51 or 52
Yeah.
as it's possible, but is it a way to say, all right, the paradigm has shifted, we need to do something different than what we have done before that will last and make a lasting difference?
I mean, if anything, public schools really do already do that. We saw with technology, with AI, with things coming into the classroom, educators quickly take on to something, meet it, and try to meet the needs. I think what we're dealing with here is that with very little time and ability to make these appropriate changes, the people that suffer the most are the kids.
With the Department of Education now, the go-ahead now to decimate that apparently, how does that factor into all this?
We're going to see less and less quickness coming from the federal government. We'll see less children covered with their civil rights being broken. But more importantly, I don't know how quickly funds will get to us, ones that already were promised.
Okay, so I'm an educator or I'm a school district official, something along these lines. What are you telling me?
I'm telling them to show up at school board meetings and find out what's going to happen with this budget. If I'm a parent, I'm going to want to know what's happening with what programs are being cut, really getting involved in there and knowing that there are people out here fighting. Our senators have worked really hard and are working with us to figure out how to get this fixed. But we are coming to the end where there is very little, fat to be trimmed from public schools. Go into any school and you'll see that there's very little that needs to be cut.
Last question here. We appreciate you being here. But last question, is there any indication that the White House will release these funds?
None whatsoever at this point.
So you've heard nothing positive on that end?
I've heard nothing positive. In fact, we saw Secretary of Education be excited of what the Supreme Court did today for her ability to completely dismantle the Department.
I was going to say, basically excited for the fact that the court said you can decimate what you're supposed to be in charge of.
Correct.
All right, Marisol Garcia, Arizona Education Association. Boy, it's always something. We brought you here for X and we started talking about Y. Best of luck as the school season starts.
Thank you.
Are you kidding me?
No.
That's insane.
On Finding Your Roots, Eliza Schlesinger
I always thought I had a very small family that almost came out of nowhere.
and Bob Odenkirk.
Oh, I wish my mom could hear this.
An ancestor's courage
She left her whole family.
She paid for her own ticket.
I'm emotional.
and a royal affair.
Duke of Plune.
She was the Duke's mistress.
Oh, that is crazy.
Tuesday night at 7 on Arizona PBS. When you support Arizona PBS, you plant a seed. Seeds that provide educational outreach in our community. Seeds that put our digital resources to work. Seeds that foster the trusted news coverage you expect from PBS. And seeds that continue the amazing PBS programs you love. But our garden can't keep growing without your support. Visit our website to see all the ways you can help our garden grow. Plant a seed with Arizona PBS today.
A new CDC report that analyzed suicide rates across various industries and occupations found higher rates among those in the construction industry. To learn more about this, we welcome Sydney Hawkins, Safety and Training Director at Canyon State Electric. Welcome to Arizona Horizon. Good to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
You bet. All right. Higher rates of suicide among construction workers. Does that surprise you?
No,
Why not?
no. Because of the job itself, and there's a lot of problems with the stigma, just the tough industry, and the difficulty in construction.
Does it include those on the job, on site, and those in offices as well?
Yes,
So it's all around, huh?
it's all around.
So why do you think that? I mean, again, I can see maybe the stress and the worry and the concern and the danger on site. But if you're in a corner office, what's going on there?
A lot of times it's because of the time away from home, and like you mentioned, the stress. And a lot of people think that there's a lot of stress in the field, and there is. There's a lot more stress even in the office.
Interesting.
Yeah.
It's a male-dominated field. Men more likely to commit suicide. Is there a correlation there?
Yes. Yes, the men are more likely, younger men even more likely than older men.
Okay, we talked about work-related factors for the office workers, hours and stress and these sorts of things. For those on site, what factor is at play there?
It's obviously the stress of the job, the schedules, the deadlines. We have to do everything to perfection in the field. You're on your feet 10 hours a day. There are no shortcuts. And at the end of the day, it really comes down to everything has to be perfect, and that is a high amount of stress.
Yeah, yeah. Do you have bullying on the construction sites?
Oh, yes.
You do?
Yes, there is, and that's really where the mental health program comes into play, because the suicide rates are very high, and the way to help combat that is to address poor mental health before you get to that point.
So you got performance pressure, and you got a little bit of maybe the macho atmosphere comes into play as well, huh?
Huge, huge contributor to that problem.
And this has always been the case.
Tough guy, walk it off.
Yeah. The idea of working through pain, that macho tough guy performed, that they all kind of coalesce there, don't they?
They do, and a lot of times we see it as we don't have an option. We don't have any choice but to push through.
And you mentioned shift issues and these sorts of things. That affects sleep, I would imagine. That affects mental health, the whole 9 yards.
Yes, working out of town, the long hours, you get home, you go to bed at 9, you have to be up at 2.
I can already hear drug and alcohol issues being associated with that kind of lifestyle.
Yes, and not only illegal drugs, obviously the alcohol, but even the prescription drugs, painkillers. That is a large contributor to the problem overall.
Many of these issues that we've talked about with construction workers and the construction industry as a whole, they've been there for a while. I mean, we've seen construction workers doing some pretty dangerous things and pretty stressful things for decades and decades.
Yes.
Was there always a high suicide rate?
It's always been a high suicide rate, but it's growing more and more. And we're also seeing a lot more of the younger generation coming into it. And so it's just going to get worse.
Why do you think it's growing more and more?
That's one of the problems that we have. Until we address the actual problem and recognize that it is a problem and talk it out and realize that it's okay to talk it out as men, and I'm not talking about the women as well are impacted, the problem's just not going to go away.
And this is where suicide prevention programs come in, 4x5 suicide prevention. What exactly is that? How did you get involved?
So as the safety and training director, one of my goals, one of my job title or duties is to look at leading indicators. And so when I look at the biggest things that's causing the most damage, it turned out to be poor mental health. 4 times higher than the national average, 5 times higher than what we call the fatal 4. And it just, we just came up with the concept one day, started its own nonprofit organization.
You just mentioned the fatal 4. What is that?
Falls, caught, struck, and electrocution. So falling, getting caught in between something, getting struck by something, or of course being electrocuted.
Interesting, interesting. Okay, you got the numbers, you got the information, and went forward. Talked about the program. Talk about how you went forward.
The first thing I did was to look into getting certified for mental health first aid, just like you would be CPR certified.
Mm-hmm.
We train people on how to be mental health first aid certified. And that's our front line of what we call ambassadors, people on the job site, boots on the ground, who can help someone.
Focused on the construction industry and what these people are going through.
Yes.
Go ahead.
And a lot of times it's not necessarily the individual that's having the issues because of their poor mental health. It's what they're subjected to either on the site or at home.
How hard is it to get these folks to get help?
The older generation, it's tough.
Yeah, I'll bet.
The younger generation, I am amazed at how open-minded they are, and it's very encouraging.
And these are relatively new kinds of treatments overall, or are these old things that you're just kind of reshaping and going in a different direction?
It's always been the same issues and underlying problems. We're just bringing that to light and basically letting people know, hey, it's all right to sit down, talk to someone, have a breakdown. We're here for you. We are your brother's keeper.
Yeah, yeah. Developers, the construction industry as a whole, are they listening? Are they paying attention to this?
Most of them. We have a few holdouts.
Yeah, yes. And why are they holding out?
We don't have that problem, they say. And to me, that's just denial. And it's a stigma. And that's one of our biggest challenges, is to get people to accept that this is a problem. That's all we ask for some cases.
Right.
Just accept it's a problem. Let us take it from there.
But you think it's moving in the right direction?
It is definitely moving in the right direction. And I just wish it would move a lot faster.
Sydney Hawkins, Canyon State elected. I had no idea that the suicide rate of construction workers was higher than that. It's really interesting stuff. Good to have you here, and great work. Continued success.
Thank you.
I'm William Brangham. Tonight on the NewsHour, President Trump toughens his stance against Russia, promising more weapons for Ukraine. coming up at 6 on Arizona PBS.
Hello, I'm Scott Wolfel. To the many thousands of you who contacted your congressperson on our behalf, I am sincerely thankful. Despite your appeals, the House voted to strip federal funding from public media. We now turn to the U.S. Senate, which represents the next opportunity to stop this clawback of funding. We're asking you to reach out to Senators Kelly and Gallego to urge them to remove the proposal to cut public media funding from the rescissions package. Visit azpbs.org/mypublicmedia to learn how you can make your voice heard.
Blank Canvas is a new documentary about reimagining corrections with a focus on bringing art therapy inside Arizona state prisons to help incarcerated people heal from the trauma that led them to destructive behaviors. Ryan Thornell is a director of the Arizona Department of Corrections Rehabilitation and Reentry, and also with us is Brandon Lee, founder and executive producer of Blank Canvas. Gentlemen, good to have you both here. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for the time and the platform.
You bet. I'm going to start with you, Brandon, because this is prison-wide, I would imagine here, to a certain degree. Educate me here. The idea of reimagining corrections, what does that mean?
Yeah, it really means this idea of reconceptualizing what it means to do corrections in what a prison setting should look like. So Governor Hobbs appointed me as director to really take the correction system in a new direction, to transform what we do here in our prison system. And so in order to do that, we set a course to reimagine that, to give our staff, our partners, those who interact with us, really the opportunity to bring us new ideas, try new things, in order, with the intended goal to get new, different, and better outcomes.
Were there best practices involved from other attempts and other programs around the country?
Yeah, so we know programming is really the way to improve people's behavior and to improve outcomes, especially out in the community. But a lot of what we're trying here in Arizona is adapting things to the Arizona system. The Arizona system's different than many other states, so we take what we know and we figure out how we adapt it here. And one example of that is the Art of Our Soul partnership.
Yeah.
It's here in Arizona.
And that's where Brandon Lee comes in. Good to see you again.
It's good to see you too.
Yeah, talk about this idea of art therapy and how important it is for those who are incarcerated.
You know, I always say, what is the common thread here is to make our community safer, right? I think we can all agree in that. And so understanding the body and why people make the decisions they do that lead them to become incarcerated. And more often than not, Ted, it all begins with trauma and childhood trauma. And understanding that when you experience childhood trauma, your brain at that time is rewired. If that goes unhealed, you begin to make some terrible life choices as an adult, sometimes even destructive. So if you understand that the majority of people who are incarcerated are there because of the trauma that they've experienced, whether it's childhood trauma, childhood attachment trauma, or environmental trauma, then it's our responsibility while they're incarcerated and in the state's care to rehabilitate them. Art and music therapy is proven as a proven modality, and the way that we do it is to rewire and create new neural pathways, create new thought patterns. If we can do that, then when they are released back into our communities are safer, they can sustain a job, it makes our economy even stronger, and it stops generational trauma. Many of these folks have families on the outside, they've got children. So while they're incarcerated, it is our obligation and our responsibility to rehabilitate them so that when they are released, they don't hurt anyone else.
Those in the corrections industry, you personally, when you hear that, when you first heard that, what did you think?
Surprisingly, I thought, I want that inside the prison, because that's really the mentality we have to have inside of our prison system. We have individuals incarcerated for a set period of time, and so I view it as a responsibility and obligation of ours in public service to use that period of time to do exactly what Brandon mentions, to give opportunities, to provide interventions, to rewire and help individuals while they're with us so that when they release into our communities, they're more stable and they're safer.
Was there much pushback among those in the corrections industry?
No, surprisingly, people understand it, people get it. There's certainly some reservations with the idea of bringing art and music therapy into a very high security prison setting. But as we fast forward to a year later, our staff love it. The staff working in those environments see the benefit from it. The staff actually enjoy engaging in those situations because it's really an opportunity for them to do corrections differently.
Yeah. Brandon, the documentary deals with the Lumley unit at Perryville Prison.
It's a high-risk population.
Yeah, talk to us about that unit. Talk to us about some of the folks that we're seeing right here.
So, we work with the highest risk populations. That was one of the promises that Director Thornell made. He goes, if we're going to do this, I want you to work with our highest risk populations. Right here, this is an art and music therapy session. The beautiful thing is that we do trauma-informed yoga, breathwork, sound bowl healing sessions, and then it transforms into an art and music therapy studio in the afternoons. I don't want to get lost on this either, because the officers, the correctional officers who are out there on the yards monitoring these folks and trying to also help this population, they too get a chance to participate in these programs. It's not just for those who are incarcerated. The most beautiful thing that I have seen is correctional officers inside of a studio doing yoga, breathwork, and sound bowls with those who are incarcerated, and music sessions, because Ted, it builds connection. And when they build those stronger connections, they're seen as humans, we change their behaviors. Our environment plays a huge role in how we think, how we feel, how we behave. We know that. So if we begin to change the environment in which we do on these prison yards, brick and mortar, we begin to see these changed behaviors. We have brought down ticket violations on these yards. We brought mental health watches down by more than 70% at the Lumley unit. It's making an impact, and I will say that Director Thornell is a thought leader in this space, in this sense that he understands if you want a different outcome, we have to be willing to do something different in order to achieve that. He has been a huge champion of it, while others may say, that's a little risky. That's a little risky. He goes for it because he cares about the one thing that I mentioned at the very beginning of this, making our communities safer.
And we got about 30 seconds left, Ryan. When you hear him say that, does it ring true? I mean, are you seeing it? Are you getting those reactions from these people?
Absolutely, it rings true. And we see it across the male population and the female population, and we see it across the staff working in both of those environments. They are healthier units, there are better outcomes, and we're going to see the investment pay off in the community.
Well, gentlemen, continued success to you as well. Congratulations, and thank you so much for joining and sharing. We appreciate it.
Thanks for the time.
You bet. That's it for now. I'm Ted Simons. Thank you so much for joining us. You have a great evening.